Alright, hi everyone, you're here with James and...
Jeremy.
And Chris.
Cool. This is the first time we've actually done a sort of semi-live recording of an update for you, so bear with us. If this is amateurish, it's because we're amateurish at doing it. So, we wanted to tell you a little bit about, 018, which we've just released, and also 01, whatever it is, the next release, which we're going to hopefully get to you over the next sort of couple of weeks to a month or two. So we wanted to tell you what we've done with 018. So the first thing that is new in this version, I guess, is this little thing here. So if you ever use cloud rendering, you may have come across the situation where if you run lower than $2 in credit, all of a sudden pop-ups start appearing like crazy, like this one all over the screen. Obviously not great user experience. I mean, I don't know, what do you guys think of it?
I never saw it. I never ran that low in credit thing.
Jerry was never fussed about it. Okay. We thought it might annoy you, so we thought we'd do something about it.
It sounds like it would be terrible.
It annoyed me. I hated it. I made it and I hated it. So I thought, yeah, if I'm the person whose baby it is and I hate my baby, then everyone else probably thinks it's worse. So rather than having pop-ups with information about what's gone wrong with your cloud account just arriving all over the screen, it's now contained in a list. So you just click this list and you'll find lots of stuff in here. So I'll try and give you a demo of what that looks like. So if I try and start a cloud, we've just so happened to have engineered, Chris, is that the right term?
I think so.
Engineered this to happen. So there you go, like it lights up like that, and then you can see there's an issue in here. What does that mean, Chris? What does this actually do?
That's an irrelevant server error.
Irrelevant server error. See,
doesn't matter.
It's engineered for the purposes of demonstration to show you what will happen. So obviously, if you run out of credit, you'll start seeing lots of notifications in here telling you that you got less than $2 credit left, and you can get rid of them by deleting them. There you go. Now it's gone not light anymore. We might change the color of this in the future, but for now, if you see this showing up as white, then you've got some issues in here you might want to attend to. Not as in your face as having pop-ups like this, but certainly a lot better. Okay, what else can we talk about? Guys, anything? There was the bug fix for the node crashes.
Yeah. So we need to talk about that.
I think we will.
May as well.
So, yeah.
10 seconds.
The other thing that we fixed is there used to be a crash when you used to connect to a node and change something. So I'll try and simulate that. I'll just give you some idea of what would happen. Trying to. What IP address? 2.168.8.110.
You missed his dot.
Did I? No nodes to connect. Yes, you're right, I did. That's right. I'm not even going to edit this. We're just going to leave all these mistakes in. Ah, man. Okay, so I'll put the IP address in.
You should probably edit out the IP anyway.
I can blur it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll blur it.
Yeah.
That will be blurry. By the time you guys see this, that will be blurry. Okay, well, this is going well. Okay, just pretend. I might actually try restarting this. Anyway, so to cut a long story short, if you were to change like rotation, scale, or location of objects, or change the settings of objects like properties, so if you were to come in here and move things around, then any nodes you had connected would suddenly exit. And the reason for that was basically some legacy code. So we fixed that now. That doesn't happen anymore. And that's pretty much it for 018. It's actually a very small update, which brings us up to the new way that we're doing stuff. So you'll notice we're actually releasing a lot more often. So I'm going to let Chris now talk to you about what semantic versioning is, and he's going to tell you hopefully why it's good and important and we all should love it.
Yeah, sure. So semantic versioning just means that you've got major, minor, and patch releases. So 018 would be minor version 1 and patch release 8. And that means that every time a patch release comes out, you can basically install it without worrying that anything's going to break.
I'm going to show that to the folks back home. So let's just go through. What's this one, Chris, here?
Yeah, so that 8 there is the patch release. So if we release 019, that would mean you can install it without worrying that anything's going to break. You can use 018 and 019 together. But if we released 1.0, then everything would need to be updated and you might have to change some configurations as well.
Okay, so we're going, this would be the major number,
Yep.
the minor, and the patch.
Yep.
So if memory serves me right, if we change the patch revision, semantic versioning tells us that we've fixed a bug.
Yep.
in a backwards compatible way.
Yeah. So any patch revisions should be able to work together, and they'll have the same feature set.
Nice.
Any minor versions should also be able to function together, but they might differ with features. So you can add new features in a minor release, but it should still work with previous minor releases.
Awesome. And that sort of brings us over to the next release we're going to do, because you may not have heard yet, but we're actually doing 3-week sprints where we add something new to our software repository. We don't release every 3 weeks, but what we do is make changes, and when we think we've got something that's going to be really cool and you're going to love it, then we release that. So we're due to release another version really soon. Because of semantic versioning that we've introduced for the first time, we don't actually know what the number will be, because we have to decide if we're just fixing a bug or we're adding functionality, and it looks like we may do both. So there will be a new version coming out in the next few weeks, and there's a couple of really cool new things in there which we're going to talk about now. One of the things I am working on is better feedback. So you'll notice that I've clicked on this a few times, and the main reason for doing that was to demonstrate the old horrible way of showing you cloud feedback, i.e. this thing. But we're actually going to now start giving you more feedback for each node. So if a node has warnings or errors on it when it's trying to render, then this little icon here, or one like it, is going to light up, similar to this, and you'll have a whole bunch of things in here which tells you, for example, why has its sync failed, which is, up until now, for you using the software as an artist, may have been somewhat of a mystery, an annoying and frustrating mystery. That's going to go away with the next release, because you'll be able to see what pieces of the scene are causing the issue, or whether you're missing a texture, or that node can't reach your shared drive to get assets from it. Hopefully this is going to make it a lot simpler for you to track down problems before you see it in your final output as an image, by which point in time it's rendered and it's a bit too late. So that's going to be coming in the next release. It's not out right now in 0.18, but in the next one it will be there. Which leads us to another thing which we've actually got coming. I'm just going to... Do I have it here? Oh, yes, I do. Okay, so... Jeremy, is this thready thing out in 0.18 yet?
No, it's not. So
okay, Jeremy's going to talk to you now about being able to do cool new stuff, which I will not talk about because he knows best.
So what I've added is the option to, for each node we've connected to, you can now, when you select CPU, you can check how many threads they've got. You can switch between auto and fixed. So you can go to fixed there and say you want 8 threads if you feel. And
so you've got 8 cores.
You can do that for every single one of these nodes that you connected to separately. So
nice.
The other option we're going to change is that if you choose CUDA or OpenCL, it will also give you the CPU option, so you can choose whether to hybrid render on each node as well separately. Unfortunately, this machine doesn't have CUDA or OpenCL devices, so
yeah,
we can't show you that here.
Sorry about that. I decided to go for the lowest spec model of
it will allow us to basically utilize as much of each machine as you can, which is good. It'll give you better performance, hopefully. And
this is also a bug fix, isn't it, for people?
Yeah, at the moment, due to the way hybrid rendering
double
works, actually choosing a GPU on one of the nodes doesn't work properly because it doesn't disable the CPU. So this will allow you to manually tell it not to use the CPU when you want to use the GPU.
Yeah, which is something we spent, 3 hours yesterday finding out the hard way. Thank you very much, Blender. Well, no, actually, we like Blender, that's why we work with it, but there are some times when it drives us absolutely up the wall.
But yeah, so that should all be fixed.
It should be fixed, yeah. It was great actually finally realising what was doing it, but now in the next release, you won't have to put up with not being able to use your GPUs, which is actually really cool. There is, however, a workaround for it, so maybe we should tell them what the workaround is, in case you're watching this and we haven't released the next version yet. Can we remember what the workaround is?
If you have the CPU disabled in the client, I think it doesn't use the CPU when you choose GPU rendering.
Oh, that's right. So the main problem is when you're using GPU rendering, if that render node is set up to use the CPU under the hybrid rendering. So let's just go hypothetically here. I don't have...
It's in the preferences.
It's in preferences. So what you would do is if you're having trouble with your GPUs on a render node, you should go to that render node, go into System, And if you did have an OpenCL card, under 2.8 you'd be able to select both the OpenCL cards, but also the CPU. So to stop the GPUs from not being used on that node with Crowdrender, you disable the CPU. And that's basically the problem, I believe. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's what we discovered yesterday. The CPU was basically, while it was rendering, it wasn't able to service the GPU properly, and so the GPU really never got running. It sort of did render, but not really, and a few people reported that as being the symptoms. So for now, if you want to be able to use your GPUs, go onto that render node, open the panel, and then disable the CPU in hybrid rendering, and it should work. But as Jeremy has wonderfully pronounced, that's going to be controlled from now on in the next release. Okay, so that's pretty much it, I think. We've dealt with everything that's coming up. We're going to do more of these videos on a shorter time frame, so we're going to do more frequent, smaller updates, and we're just going to let you know as the weeks tick down what we've worked on, where we're up to in the process of getting to beta. Beta is the final sort of goal for the current stage we're in, with lots of brand new features. You'll be able to hear about those on our website soon. We're going to update our website's campaign page where you can donate to the project, and that's all going to be awesome. So make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and share this video around if you love what we're doing, and we will see you in the next video shortly.